The one phrase that you consistently hear uttered about Keegan Murray amongst NBA followers is that he doesn't play like a rookie. In fact, he doesn't even act like one. Everything from his mentality to his playstyle would lead you to believe that he's been dominating the game for years. Just listen to what De'Aaron Fox had to say about him when he went on Draymond Green's podcast.
It's crazy how good he is. But he also has that like Tim Duncan demeanor. He comes in, man, he's the most efficient guy I've ever been around. Like, you look over, if he's just shooting, he's not missing. Then we played pickup a little bit before training camp. He doesn't miss. He doesn't have any wasted motion. Like, everything he does is just efficient. Defensively, offensively, grabbing rebounds, boxing out. He kind of really just makes the game look easy.
But besides his laid-back, Tim Duncan-like demeanor, what is it about Keegan's play that resembles a 10-year veteran, rather than the unseasoned rookie that he is? Well, it's plays like this. Backpedaling in transition against a 2-on-1 fast break, Keegan is forced to play the cat-and-mouse game on an island. He manages to help discourage a shot by playing above the restricted area, but watch how quick he flips his hips on the pass, locates the ball, and meets Norman Powell at the rim. This is some elite spatial awareness, knowing exactly where he is on the court, and still has an absurd reaction time to change direction, and gets a quick mini hop in there as well to help propel himself vertical. He plays the low tag man perfectly, with the Kings typically playing a more aggressive style of drop coverage in which the big defends at the level of the screen. This puts a lot of pressure on the weak side defenders to tag and rotate properly. You always have to play at or above the level against Steph in the pick and roll because of his lethal shooting ability, so this is always going to create an opening to hit the roll man. But watch Keegan's weak side rotation that gets him there just in time to make a play on the ball. Despite possessing a variety of wing skills, Keegan knows how to utilize his size and length to help provide protection at the rim. When Kennard rejects a screen and has a free lane to the basket here, it's again Keegan's recognition from the weak side that saves a free 2 points. Not only that, he again manages to stay completely vertical and contest without fouling. When Looney flips the screen and Steph beats Herter off the dribble, it's now Keegan's job to help over and stop the drive. This initiates the pill switch, with Kevin pilling off to Draymond in the corner, and now Keegan is going to have to chase Steph around for the rest of the possession. And he does exactly just that, denying him the ball and ultimately helping completely disrupt their offense. But the same guy who's making these elite defensive reads is the same guy that was matched up with Paul George in his first ever NBA game, chasing him through screens, getting into his body, and trying to disrupt the rhythm that he was in. Though he has work to do in terms of locating screens and anticipating the contact, there are also plenty of positive signs in here as well. I like here how he uses his right arm to launch himself off the screen, getting himself back in the play though PG had the initial advantage. But plays like this show you where he can improve. He isn't locating the screen until it's too late. He shouldn't be trying to go over a screen from this distance and angle, which he initially does. Keegan's process just simply takes too long, which only further draws Sabonis away from the pick and pop threat. And Keegan isn't going to be perfect. There are still plenty of correctable mistakes, but he's only going to grow in that regard. It's going to be a tough ask for Keegan to defend guards out on the perimeter consistently, but eventually he does force a jump stop out of Kennard here, and he has a size advantage at the basket as well. The only problem is he leaves his feet on the pump fake and gives Kennard free throws. And although I think Keegan's hip speed and lateral quickness is a bit better than advertised, guys like Steph will still make him look foolish on switches, but then again, it's Steph Curry and he'll do this to just about anyone. And this play has a combination of some of the struggles: trouble getting around the Wiseman screen and being a bit too eager to jump on the perimeter. And there's simply no way to talk about Keegan Murray without mentioning his lethal shooting ability. He's probably already the Kings' second best shooter behind Kevin Herter and has been on full display. All of his makes have been off the catch, but I love some of the off-ball movement that we've seen as well. Watch Keegan lift to the wing on De'Aaron's drive here. Not only does this free himself up, it creates a much easier passing angle for Fox to get him the ball. When Keegan's man has his back turned here, he cuts behind him, but with the lack of spacing around the basket, he has no room, so he simply relocates to the opposite corner where he's wide open. Another weak side lift here that forces a long closeout where Keegan can attack Kennard's front foot. And one thing that we saw a ton of in Summer League were these strong drives to the basket where Keegan has the ability to finish on the run and at difficult angles. This ability to attack closeouts is an important one and another area where Keegan excels. This time a pump fake gets his defender in the air and gives him basically a free runway right into the paint where he can float this in without the fear of a rim protector. Keegan is great at getting all of his production within the flow of the offense. He forces almost nothing. I do like him getting more reps off the dribble, and he's also shown some flashes of creation, but that's going to be the next step for him as a player. Watch how Keegan makes great use of Domas as a screen. The Clippers switch off ball and Paul George overshoots around this handoff. Sabonis flips the angle of his screen, allowing Keegan to come off to his right. From there you get one dribble into a pull-up midi in traffic. He's always going to have the ability to get these off because of the size at his position. Here's more good two-man game with Domas. With Looney dropping into the paint and this turning into a late switch, Keegan has the space he needs to rise up in this in-between area again. If he can consistently knock these shots down, it really is unstoppable. Just think about what Paul George just did to the Kings. He was basically living on these kinds of shots. Still, the creation has a long way to go, and his handle just isn't quite there yet. There really hasn't been anything in terms of space creation shown, as most of his looks come from utilization of screens and his size. He struggles with contact and when players get up into him, and he's been prone to losing his handle and has a couple travels in there as well. It's not too surprising or anything, but the scouting report going forward is likely going to be get physical with him and make him uncomfortable. But none of his struggles are super concerning, and the positives far outweigh the negatives here. It's been just 2 games into his career, and all Keegan's done is impress at every level. Kings fans have a right to be upset after a slow start to the season, but watching Keegan flourish early on has been a worthy consolation. Anyways, thank you guys for sticking around, and see you next time.